from our heart, living from our core, living from our power. We all get more. We are powerful women.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alignment Summit. I'm Sue Erda. I'm your grateful host for this event. And I keep saying that because I am so grateful and so honored to be able to present to you these amazing women, 20 women who are the authors of the upcoming book, Women Living in Alignment. And in the book, they share their stories, their journeys of how they got into alignment, how they kind of figured out and felt their way through what was their soul purpose, what are they here for, what feels good to them, and how they're now living in that space. And so I know you're here because you want to hear from them. So today I'm excited to talk with Carol Collins. She is one of our authors in this book and also an author of many other books that will be coming out this coming year. So I'm excited about that. And so I'm going to read a brief introduction of Carol, and then we'll get started talking with her. Carol Collins is a gifted channel, the voice for the Yeshua Collective, and is also known as the Pittsburgh Medium. Her abilities spontaneously manifested in March 2019 after 9 months of quiet meditation. Through her, Yeshua teaches about collective consciousness, manifesting with ease, health and wellness through natural healing, and intuitive studies bringing out the natural abilities to connect with guides and loved ones in everyone. In 2021, Yeshua channeled 11 books with more on the way. She frequently offers readings, classes, and workshops with Yeshua. She's been interviewed by celebrity personalities and featured in over 20 magazines and recently named Top 10 Women to Watch by LA Weekly. And Carol, I am happy to welcome you. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
I'm thrilled to have you, and I am thrilled to talk with you. I love your topic that you chose. It is believing is seeing. That sounds backwards to a lot of people, I think, but I have this experience as well. Believing is seeing, how I became a trance channel. So I'm excited to learn about that. I think that there are a lot of people that, talk about, or they know about channels and mediums, and they use them interchangeably sometime. And it means to connect in various ways with the spirit world. But the difference with a trance channel is what?
Well, you are right. People use the word channel. I'm channeling my inner child. I'm channeling my, inner guru. But the way that the Yeshua Collective, and it is a collective, it's a number of beings, and they've identified to me 4 or 5 by name. They say there are many others that just don't have a need to bring a name forth. But there are some that teach, and there are some that heal, and there are some that just help you move around in the day and provide intuitive thoughts. And then there's others that have planned books. So there's a group, I like to say it's like a community of beings, and they've given themselves the name, the collective name of the Yeshua Collective. So my abilities are trance channeling as well as clairvoyant mediumship. So the way that they describe it is the world uses the word channel to mean that I am connected, like you said. But the way that they use it in their intuitive development classes is that a channel is it's a progression of your abilities. You start with intuition, and intuition are those silent thoughts, those things that come across, and you do them without having a thought or an image first. And then your ocular abilities, and they do say ocular, not clairvoyant, because they are teachers, and they like to differentiate themselves from human teachers, for one, but also they're talking about the abilities that we have. They're all mind's eye abilities, whether they show up in the nose or the mouth or the skin or the mind's eye itself. Channeling is a progression from those natural abilities. Trance channeling is an even softer mind that just allows them to use the vocal cords. So that's what they want to really get clear to everyone, through me, evidently, is that trance channeling and channeling is a clean, clear message that comes through. Channeling, the way that they teach it and the way that they use the word, is when they give the mind some message, some instruction, some conveyance of words from where they are. And the human mind does not interject or contaminate the message at all. So that's someone whose mind is perfected. Trance channeling is slightly different, and they do talk about shifting and how you need to do it. But the main difference is they teach movement. They teach movement. and they focus on the vocal cords, and they move the vocal cords, tell the mind what they're going to say, and then the two come beautifully together. So it's the pinnacle is how they call it, trance channeling. I do it in a very light trance state. So like I am here with you, I can see the camera, I can hear what I'm saying, I know the room that I'm in, I'm consciously aware. There are some, when the guide team goes to move the vocal cords, they have to move conscious awareness down. And that's how you see that some are eyes closed tightly, they don't remember what was said, or they appear to be asleep. For me, it's just a way of being for me. I'm talking 1 minute, they're talking the next. They do introduce themselves though. And they might introduce themselves in this conversation with you. We'll see.
Cool. I would love to meet the Yeshua Collective here live with you. But let's talk about that. The Yeshua Collective. Tell us more. Who are they and what do they want us to know?
The essential material is what they teach, and they call it the 4 pillars of learning. So what do they want people to know in general is to dive into these 4 pillars. It will heal the chakra system, knowledge within and knowledge from where they are. They connect in a beautiful way that makes the chakra system just relax. It's like truth be known is how they phrase it, truth be known. And when truth is known to the subconscious mind, the whole energy body just says, oh, I was looking for that answer. That's the one that feels good. And then the whole chakra system relaxes. Now, they're very concerned about the throat chakra in people because the throat chakra is tied to the conduit of communication. And when the throat chakra gets rigid, then it's like turning your back on your guide and focusing on the world. And then emotions guide you, not your non-physical teachers guiding you. So that's the basis. Now, to get there, the 4 pillars of learning are simply this. Pillar number 1 is conscious studies, who they are, who we are, and why we're having a physical life experience, and all things like it. Pillar 2, idea construction, how words create your future and how words can heal your future as well, otherwise known as law of attraction. Pillar 3 is the art of self-healing. Now, self-healing comes in many forms. There's verbal healing, there's musical healing, there's emotional healing by way of tapping into who you used to be as a child. When you tap into games and songs and environments that you enjoyed as a child, those memories come bubbling up and it has a healing effect. But also they teach how to direct source energy or chi or prana. There's many different terms for it. How you use the vortex points in the body, and when you connect them together, they activate and they push frequency through the chakra system to heal it. Now, that's one thing that I like to say is much needed. There's so much about law of attraction and how words matter. Your words really create what it is that you're going to experience, but words are one component. When you understand that the chakra system is clogged and your words are unclogging the chakra system, then it makes you just say, well, how else can I unclog the chakra system? And they say energy work. And so directing energy through the body is one way, but there's many others. And then pillar 4 is unfoldment into the ability to channel. It starts with intuition and strengthening it, and then moving through all of the mediumship qualities, all the senses that we have, into the ability to be crystal clear with what they're saying. And then eventually, if the body and the mind are ready for it and allow it, then they teach the mind in meditation how to let them move the vocal cords. And then they get to say what they want to say, how they want to say it. They pace, they watch the chakra system of whomever they're talking to. And if their chakra system is starting to light up, they adjust the pace. Now, we as human beings, we don't know how to do that. We don't know what's going on the inside. And if the chakra system is nice and level and patient and listening, then they can add more and add more. So they're very aware of who we are, not just as people and what we've done and what our patterns of behavior are and what's manifesting and what's not, but in the moment, what's going on with the whole chakra system. And that's one thing that I find not only needed, but missing. I think it's the secret behind the secret. Law of attraction is definitely something that helps the world, but law of attraction plus energy work to heal the clogged pipes. And I know that's an Abraham term, but I just like to say, as a shout out to Esther and her and Jerry and their easy way of being among people, number one, but also the decision that they had to introduce Esther's awakening in the beginning of her books. When I read that, my whole body warmed up. And then to find out that that's how my abilities activated as well, a number of months of meditation and then movement within the face that turned into face spelling. And if that story wasn't out there for me to read, I don't know what my awakening would be. So I say books like this one, if they're not out there, they can't be read and they can't plant a seed in people. And all of these stories and all of these chapters plant beautiful seeds in people for the throat chakra to soften. And then you can hear your guide, or you just make better decisions. You wake up happier and then you have a better day. So it's a process of learning, but it's the essential material, the 4 pillars of learning is the body of knowledge that they teach when they teach through a trance channel. It's always the teaching that they provide in any true channeled book where they are providing the dictation. Their teaching falls into one of those 4 categories.
So Carol, you mentioned about Abraham and Esther Hicks and how that worked. And I know that you had a similar awakening experience to that because it was awakened in you through the reading of that. And that's why books are so very important. But the as a trance channel, it really opened your mind a lot and your life changed almost overnight. Tell us a little bit more about that. And what is it that you want other people to know about that?
Yeah. Begin again. I think that's a beautiful hashtag for people. Begin again. There's nothing that you can't do once you set your mind to it. But how do you get there? Well, for me, it was diving into depression. I dove into depression. I didn't tiptoe into it. And there I was. I sat fully immersed in depression. And that's where I found my first Abraham video. And that video changed my awareness of my body. My whole body got warm, but mostly right here in the chest. And it was almost like a gravitational pull. I couldn't not listen to Abraham. And I found myself just having it on in the background. It didn't just soothe me emotionally. It kept me from listening to music and watching television and reading books and doing things that I didn't want to do anymore. I had just come out of a very bad relationship. And like most people, when you step away from relationship, you fall into heartache. And everything you do reminds you of what you did together. And that's where I was. So I put everything I could, all of my focus into Abraham videos. So thank heavens for all the people that do add to that across all these, media streams, YouTube specifically. And it was just by way of listening to the videos. I would listen to the relationship ones. I'd listen to, I type in the subject. You can do that. If you don't know, you can do that. Abraham Hicks in the subject. And then so many questions come. And I started to have my own questions. But then I came across one where Abraham's talking about meditation. And it just clicked. It clicked. And so Abraham said, you don't have time to not do it. And I don't know what it was about that statement, but it still rings true. You don't have time to not do it. That means you better do it. It's that important. And so I can remember there were times where I was walking out the door and had forgotten to do meditation, and I stopped and I closed the door and I sat back down and I did that small 10, 15 minutes of meditation. And then I got up and did my day. So I didn't miss a single day. And I found that around 4.5 months, my face did it was like a little tick. I call it it was a teeny tiny movement. And I called my daughter one day and she came over and I said, Elizabeth, watch my face for a second. Is it moving? And she said, oh yeah, Mom, your face is moving. I was like, oh, it's so cool. I was thrilled. I don't know why I was thrilled, but it was just an emotion of this is really, really fun. And when I tell people about this story, they say, weren't you scared? Like something was in your house? And I said, no. And that thought never occurred to me. And I think that was just a process of absorbing the frequency that was in the videos, but also being in the place where all I wanted was peace. So all I was looking for was peace, and all I found was peace. And then about a month or two later, the face started getting bigger swirls to the point where they swirled like this. The entire meditation, and about a second or two before meditation was over, my face would stop here, and then my alarm would go off. And then 9 months into it, almost to the day, my face stopped and then turned to the left, turned to the right 3 times, and then began doing this, a different kind of swirl, cursive writing. It was cursive writing, and they wrote about a chapter of a book. They wrote about creation. They wrote about my past life that is meaningful in this lifetime. They wrote about what I built into this lifetime. And then they answered a lot of personal questions about my relationship and how to move past it. So they gave me knowledge, and then they gave me guidance. And I did that every single day. Every single day. I can remember one time being propped up on my bed on my elbows. Because it's a funny thing. It's hard to lay on your bed and have your head doing this, but it was so delightful. I would have, but I was worried about my hair. So I sat up on my elbows, and my face would go, and I would be so sleepy. I'd be so sleepy, but I just didn't want to stop talking to them. And so about a month and a half or 2 into it, they just said one day, Carol, can we use your voice instead? Can we speak out loud? And I went to say yes. And when I did, the words just started flowing out, and they just started telling me who they are, what they want to teach. And it was just about 10 or 15 minutes of just this constant flow of words. And I could hear it. I sat there, I was in my living room, and I had no awareness of what was being said or what was going to be said, but I could hear it. And then it stopped, and they just said, well done, just like that. Well done. And I said, wow. And they said, do it again, blah, 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 blah. And then they just started talking again. So that first day, I don't think I got a word in edgewise, but when I would go to speak, they would just pick up where they left off. And I now know, they said, Carol, we had to keep the energy moving to keep the throat chakra open so that we could heal some things, but also we could teach the subconscious mind to just let us do it. Let us do it. Don't butt in. Don't close. Don't close. Please don't close. Please don't close. And so after a day or two, then they said, okay, now it's just on command. And so
Wow.
that's how it happened for me. And like I said, if I had not, and I just say, I'm sure that I was guided to read the whole introduction. Normally I don't do that. I just jump into chapter 1, but I read it cover to cover. And that story was so pleasing to me. And I say now, it was either planting the seed, or the seed had been planted, and that was the way to make it grow. I don't know which. I haven't asked that question, but I'm going to after this.
Wow, that's amazing. I love hearing that story. And so that was your awakening. You're opening into your gifts and being truly an open channel for that. So I love that. So I know that you do readings on a daily basis by appointment. And so when somebody works with you this way, when you're providing your gifts for them, what can they expect, and what kind of questions are they able to ask the Yeshua and their guide and all of that through you?
They can ask anything. So I have not come across a subject that they will not answer. They don't give details about the death moment. It's not good for the other person nor me to hear those kind of graphic details. And so they don't. They're always aware of what they are doing by way of the conversation to, and say it again, the throat chakra. They are teachers and healers. So in a reading, and I do my readings are Monday through Friday. Appointments are all on my website, but also by request. So if someone sends me an email and they say, there's no way I can get out of work, is it possible to do an evening or a weekend? I will fit them in. But just to structure my day, I do it Monday through Friday. So that's available. Now, in readings, there's always energy work that's being done. There's also attunement specifically. Now, the difference between a reading with Yeshua and an attunement with them is the amount of talking. So it's a two-way dialogue when you're having a reading, and whether it's with their guide, that the person's guide may step in If it's a relationship question or a family question, many may step in, or the Yeshua Collective may do all of the talking. But it's a back and forth conversation. You ask questions, you get answers, they guide you, they do give predictions, they give paths of predictions. And sometimes there's more than one pathway that's manifesting. So they give you the why and the why not, and what you can do to angle in on the one that you're hoping to experience. In an attunement, they have me close my eyes, and then I see the energy moving around that person. I see the full shape of a body. It's not really male or female generally. And then I see the energy moving in a swirl, like a spiral. I say it's kind of like a slinky. They start at the crown, they go to the feet, crown to the root, and then it twists in different ways. And each of the twists are meaningful to them. And I see a lot of images and a lot of things that are happening. Arms on this shape in my mind might move, legs might move, things might be doing. All of them have some kind of tie to clogged pipe and have manifested as a behavior or a thought pattern that are keeping people from being as healthy as they can. So those are the two private appointments that I have. But there's a number of other ways to connect and engage with Yeshua. So we'll jump into that if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once a month. I love saying this one because this is something that just makes me really, really excited. I do once a month an online Zoom Q&A. And so there's no specific teaching, but it's whatever questions guide the entire event. January through November, it's a 2-hour event. And in December, it's a 3-hour. And in December, the entire proceeds are donated to Toys for Tots. I do match it. And then whoever wants to come with me, we go shopping. And then we take it to Toys for Tots or put it in 2 or 3 of the big bins. So it's a lot of fun. So once a month on a Thursday evening, 2 hours, is just open Q&A on any topic. And there are people that ask for an attunement. There's people that ask to bring in a loved one. There's people that want to know about past lives or about consciousness or astral traveling or an evaluation on their own abilities. That's a lot of fun. Or just prediction about, I'm jobless. What do I do? I'm homeless. What do I do? I need to move. My bedroom is driving me crazy. I just can't get the furniture pieces to fit and work, aesthetically. And they say, well, you're trying too hard, or they give guidance on every topic. But they also just like teaching. The Powerfulness of Source Energy is a 2-day workshop. And each of the 4 pillars are a morning segment, afternoon, morning, afternoon. So they get all 4 in 2 days. When we're cruising, they break it up into 5 days. So they do 4 increments, and then they have a special Q&A. And then we always have kind of some kind of a social get together. So it's an introduction to the essential material. And they heal people in those. I say they heal people. They're always running energy. And there's, people that get the tingle sensations, or they get the warmth in the face, and then they do stop and explain what is happening and what's being released. And they talk about the dark night of the soul and how that term is meant to help people know that there is a mechanism of removing this physical life, past experiences, but there's a psychological effect that happens. People use it and it scares people from following through in meditation. So they use phrases, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Now, when I say that, they're also circulating energy so that anybody watching this summit, as well as you and me, they don't take that in and clog any of the etheric pipes, the energy pipes. But that phrase, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, it's a horrific phrase. But there are thousands like it that people use every day. And what does that do? It harms not only what we do and what we believe in, but it also reminds the subconscious mind that people and things die. And then we've got to, go through grieving. And so they do some grief counseling with people, and they're very, very interested in pulling together war veterans and helping them to heal from the experiences that they had, not just the memories, but the experience of being in conflict like that, and being fear has set in people across the globe. And so they would like to pull veterans together and have conversations with their inner mind so that they can help release some of what's really, really harming them. And many of them don't know anything about energy field or chakra systems or even conveying information from your guide. But having a fun Q&A, law of attraction kind of a event, well, that's nice. And they can do a lot of work in the background. But there's some that just carry weight from losing people, and they don't know why they were spared. And so some of those conversations can be had in those events, and it's enlightening, and it removes some of the guilt and the regret and the weight of still being alive. That's an awful thing, to be alive and not know why you are and your friends aren't. And so they'd like to provide some of those answers. So I'm hoping that one does come to fruition. I think it's very beneficial for all those that are suffering from.
Yeah. It sounds much needed for sure. So Carol, we're nearing the end of our time, but I know you also, with the Yeshua Collective, we have classes that you teach. We have books that they've written through you, dictated through you. Talk briefly about those for us, if you would.
Well, that's very fun. So these abilities manifested in 2019. In 2021, they wrote 11 books. Some of them are pocket size and some of them are full-size books. And so 2022 was a year of transcribing those dictated videos into manuscripts, and then one by one they're being published. And then they teach what they write in the books. So right now I have Unfoldment into Channeling. It's a Pillar 4 intuitive development course, and then the Art of Self-Healing. It's a Pillar 3. The others will come along, when it's time for those to be added to the calendar. They'll let me know. They guide me on what to do and when to do it. They are the teachers, so I do want to make sure that that's understood. So what I do is I just make sure that I'm prepared and I'm sitting in front of my camera and that all of my electronics are working, and I take a nice easy breath for a minute or two before I turn the camera on, and then they flow their guidance and their instruction and their teaching and their examples and their practice sessions. They are the teachers. So it's an interesting, bona fide, trans-channeled course, although it's not a program that has like an end and a start and an end. They're ongoing courses. Those two are 12-week sessions. So there's 4 sessions throughout the year. So it's cover to cover, January through December, and they're ongoing classes. People have learned to channel in a year. Some others have had just beautiful awakenings. They're reconnecting to their parents or their cousins or their loved ones, and they're not grieving as though they were recently passed. The self-healing techniques, people are using them, which are fun, the directed energy techniques, but also I'm starting to hear people use their phrases like, well, just do the flip-flop. The U-turn is too wide. You gotta bring it in. The boomerang aspect. There's so many different things that they use, and props. They're really fun classes. Those are Monday night and Tuesday night. Everything's on the website. Powerfulness of Source Energy workshops are throughout the year. There's a cruise in March, and the books are I think they're my favorite. They're my favorite because I just sit in front of the camera and they say chapter beginning, chapter end. And then when the whole book is done, they say, we are complete. And they like to bend my head in. And it's just this beautiful conveyance of what they want the world to know so that we heal ourselves from all these experiences and phrases and thoughts and words and, from everything that's going on in the world. They do make a difference. I like to say that. They are change makers.
Okay, wonderful. I love that. So Carol, I have 2 quick questions for you. First of all, you mentioned your website many times. Tell us what that is, please. And then also, I would love you to answer the question briefly. I know it might be a big answer, but why you? Why are you the one that's working with the Yeshua Collective?
So the website is www.thepittsburghmedium.com. And why me? Well, I built into this life, they talk about birth intentions. I built into this life to become a channel. And I did that. They'd expected me to be in a deeper trance state and not have much awareness of what was being said. But I just fell into depression and then meditated. And I found my way discarding beliefs that I didn't want. I stopped believing that there was a good place and a bad place. I started wondering about why I'm here. I can remember very vividly before these abilities manifested. I remember asking myself, for some reason, what is a soul? What is a soul, and why do we have it? Is it just bringing me life, or am I supposed to use it? And I think that sparked their interest in teaching Pillar 1, conscious studies, and then energy work. It really comes down to energy work. It's opened my mind to believing and allowing them to teach without wanting to interject and ask my own questions. It's a cleaner slate, I guess. I know I built in to be a trance channel, and then just by way of life experience, they're able to teach some of all of those pillars. I find it delightful.
Sounds wonderful. Really sounds really so wonderful and pleasing for all of it. So thank you so much, Carol. I really appreciate you. So happy you decided to be a part of this book, Women Living in Alignment, and share your story with us. And I know there's just so much more to come. So thank you so much for being here with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much.
You're welcome. And listeners, thank you. I know you are on your own journey of awakening. Perhaps your journey starts like Carol's did, with meditation, opening every day to meditation, 10 minutes a day, and just opening yourself to that. There are so many wonderful practices and openings for you that these women on this summit provide. So continue to listen to the summit. Be sure to buy the book on launch day. WomenLivingInAlignment.com is the website. If you go there, we'll guide you to the Amazon page for your country. You'll be able to get directly to the book. We have a 99-cent Kindle launch on November 2nd, which is our launch day. Because you signed up for this summit, you'll get a reminder of that. You'll love the book. You will just absolutely love reading it. You'll love these women. Be sure to reach out to them. They've got so much good for you. And stay on your journey and have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye for now.